Are you a Sigma female feeling an unshakable emptiness, a deep sense that nothing truly excites you anymore? You're not alone. This video dives into why the world often feels dull for independent, introspective women like you, and how that emptiness might actually be your soul asking for something real. Get ready to understand your own heart in a whole new way. If you're a Sigma female constantly searching for more, but ending up frustrated by shallow people and a world that doesn't get you, this is for you, because that restlessness, it's not your weakness, it's your strength. And today, we'll talk about why it's happening and how you can take your power back. Look, the truth is, Sigma females feel deeply. You don't just exist, you feel every layer of life. But sometimes, when you've seen through the noise, when nothing seems to spark anymore, you start wondering if maybe something's wrong with you. It's not. You're just evolving. Today, we're unpacking 8 real reasons why nothing feels exciting anymore, and what you can do to find meaning again. 1. Emotional burnout. You've carried yourself for so long. No shortcuts, no masks, no one to catch you when you fall. You've been the strong one, the problem solver, the calm in the storm. You show up, you handle things, you move through chaos like it's just another Tuesday. But underneath that strength, something's been slipping away. That constant self-reliance, that unspoken pressure to always be okay, slowly drains your emotional battery. It's not dramatic, it's quiet. It's the kind of exhaustion that seeps into your bones until even the things that once lit you up start feeling meaningless. You go through the motions, pretending everything's fine, but inside, you feel nothing. You wake up tired, you work tired, you go to bed tired, and it's not the kind of tired sleep fixes. It's soul tired. Sigma females often carry emotional weight that others don't even notice. You're the one who doesn't complain, who handles your storms in silence, who never asks for help because you've learned to rely only on yourself. But that independence, while powerful, can turn into isolation. You stop letting people in because you think they won't understand. You stop expressing your emotions because you've convinced yourself they're too heavy for anyone else. And eventually, you stop feeling much at all. That's emotional burnout. It's when your heart says, "I need rest," but your mind keeps pushing forward. It's when your body whispers, "Please slow down," but your schedule says, "Not today." You become disconnected from joy because you're constantly managing survival. And the worst part, you start blaming yourself for not feeling excited anymore. You think you've lost your spark, but in reality, you've just run out of fuel. Burnout makes you forget who you were before the exhaustion. You start questioning your purpose, your direction, your relationships. You start thinking maybe life is just supposed to feel dull now. But that's not true. You're not broken, you're just depleted, and you can't pour from an empty cup. Rest isn't laziness, it's medicine. It's the thing that refills you so you can show up as yourself again. But rest for a Sigma female looks different. It's not about a vacation or spa day. It's about disappearing for a little while, turning off the noise, logging out, saying no without guilt, taking a slow walk without a podcast or playlist, sitting in silence and letting your thoughts breathe. Sleep in if you need to. Let your body catch up with your mind. Breathe deeply, intentionally. Do something that has no goal attached to it. Write just to write. Paint just to feel. Cry just to release. When you stop forcing yourself to be productive, you give yourself space to be human. And that's when the healing starts. Slowly, the fog begins to lift. You notice small moments again. The sunlight, the quiet, the softness of being still. You remember that life doesn't have to be constant motion. Sometimes stillness is strength. Sometimes doing nothing is exactly what you need to feel everything again. So pause, rest, rebuild. You can't feel alive when you're running on fumes, and you don't have to anymore. If you've ever felt this kind of burnout, like you're running on fumes but still showing up for everyone, hit that like button right now. Seriously, it helps more than you think. All right, let's move to the next one. 2. Depression or emotional numbness. Sometimes, Sigma females mistake emotional numbness for peace. You tell yourself you're calm, collected, grounded, But deep down, it's not calm. It's emptiness. You don't feel highs or lows. You just exist. You wake up and go through the same routine, watching life move around you, but it feels like you're behind a glass wall. You can see everything, but you can't touch it. That's emotional numbness. And for Sigma females, it's often born from carrying too much for too long. You've been the rock for everyone else, the one who never breaks, never shows weakness. You suppress, you smile, you power through. But every time you bury your feelings, they don't disappear. They stack up. Layer after layer of unspoken pain, disappointment, exhaustion, heartbreak. Eventually, your system shuts down because it can't take more. You stop reacting, you stop caring, you stop feeling. You think you're fine because nothing hurts, but nothing excites you either. That's the danger of numbness. It's like emotional autopilot. You keep moving, but you're not really living. Depression for a Sigma female doesn't always look like crying or staying in bed all day. It can look like perfect control, like working harder, like being fine while secretly feeling hollow inside. You might still laugh with people, but it feels forced. You might still show up at work, but your heart isn't in it. You might still chase goals, but they don't mean anything anymore. And then you start wondering what's wrong with you. Why can't you feel joy? Why does everything that used to excite you now feel like a chore? The answer isn't that you've lost yourself. It's that you've numbed yourself to survive. Feeling nothing is your mind's way of saying, I've had enough pain for now. It's a defense mechanism, not a failure. But staying numb for too long keeps you disconnected from life. So how do you come back from it? You start small. You stop expecting instant happiness. You focus on feeling, even if what you feel is uncomfortable. Cry if you need to. Scream into a pillow. Write about the things that hurt, even if the words don't make sense. Let your emotions out in any form, through art, movement, silence, tears. Give yourself permission to not be strong all the time. Being vulnerable doesn't make you weak, it makes you real. And sometimes that's exactly what your heart needs. Don't run from sadness. Sit with it. Feel it. Because when you allow yourself to feel the heavy stuff, you make space for the light to come back in. Emotional numbness fades when you stop pretending everything's fine. It fades when you reconnect with your own truth, without judgment or pressure. The path back to feeling alive again starts with honesty, with admitting you're not okay right now. And that's okay. Healing takes time. You don't have to rush it. You just have to start feeling again, one real, raw moment at a time. Third, hormonal imbalance. Nobody likes to talk about it, but it's real and it's powerful. Your hormones are the silent architects behind how you feel, how you think, how you see yourself. And when they're off, everything feels off. For Sigma females who already live life at full intensity, constantly analyzing, observing, overthinking, the effects hit harder. One day you're fine, motivated, unstoppable. The next day, it feels like someone turned off the light inside you. You're tired for no reason, irritated by small things, craving solitude but hating the loneliness at the same time. You start asking yourself, what's wrong with me? But nothing's wrong. Your body's just out of rhythm. Hormonal imbalance isn't just about mood swings or PMS. It's deeper than that. It can affect your energy levels, focus, sleep, appetite, creativity, even your sense of self. When estrogen, progesterone, or cortisol levels shift, your emotional world shifts too. You may start feeling disconnected, foggy, or unmotivated, even though you're doing everything right. You eat well, you work hard, you take care of things, but you still feel off. And because Sigma females tend to intellectualize their feelings, you start blaming yourself. You assume it's your mindset, your lack of discipline, your attitude, but it's not. Sometimes it's chemistry. When your body's out of balance, your emotions lose their natural rhythm. You stop feeling excitement because your brain isn't producing the hormones that help you feel alive. And when that happens, no amount of positive thinking will fix it. You can't mindset your way out of biology. So, what can you do? First, listen to your body. Pay attention to the subtle signals: fatigue, irritability, insomnia, brain fog, low motivation, unpredictable emotions. These are not random, they're messages. Your body is asking for balance. Start with the basics. Move your body in ways that feel natural, not forced. Go for a walk instead of a workout if that's all you can handle. Eat foods that fuel you instead of drain you, less processed junk, more whole ingredients. Drink water, rest without guilt. Sometimes the simplest habits are the hardest for independent women because you've been conditioned to push through, but pushing through when your hormones are screaming, "Slow down," only makes things worse. If you suspect a real imbalance, don't ignore it. Get checked. Talk to a doctor, get your hormones tested, ask questions. Understanding your cycle, your thyroid, your stress hormones, it's not weakness, it's self-respect. It's self-mastery. When you know how your body works, you stop fighting it and start working with it. And once your hormones begin to balance, something magical happens. You feel present again. Colors seem brighter. Music hits deeper. Life feels like it's moving again instead of standing still. That spark you thought was gone wasn't lost. It was just dimmed by imbalance. So stop blaming your mind when it's your body asking for care. Healing your hormones isn't vanity. It's power. Because when your body is balanced, your soul can finally breathe again. 4. Overstimulation and digital fatigue. It's crazy how loud the world has become. You wake up to notifications, scroll through highlights of other people's lives, reply to messages, check emails, watch videos, absorb content, repeat. It never stops. You're surrounded by information, opinions, noise, flashing lights, and endless screens. And for a Sigma female, a woman who thrives in solitude, depth, and quiet introspection, that constant noise is poison. It's not that you can't handle it. You can handle anything, but just because you can doesn't mean you should. Overstimulation slowly eats away at your peace, your focus, your creativity. Every ping pulls you out of yourself. Every scroll distracts you from your own thoughts. You start feeling scattered, detached, and strangely bored even when you're busy. That's digital fatigue. You're consuming so much that nothing feels meaningful anymore. It's like eating junk food all day. Your mind feels full but starved at the same time. You don't feel inspired, you feel drained. You can't concentrate on one thing for long, and the things that used to excite you now feel dull. You crave silence, but avoid it because silence feels weird now. It's almost like your nervous system has forgotten what calm feels like. Sigma females need quiet to thrive. You need space to think deeply, to feel clearly, to breathe without interruption. But when you're constantly plugged in, you lose that inner connection. You start mistaking stimulation for excitement, and when the stimulation stops, you feel empty. You reach for your phone again, hoping for a spark, but the more you consume, the less you feel. It's a trap. Your brain's reward system gets hijacked by constant dopamine hits, likes, comments, updates, breaking news, new trends. It's addictive, but it's empty. That's why you can scroll for hours and still feel unsatisfied. The more you look outward, the more disconnected you become from yourself. So how do you break out of it? You unplug, not forever, but long enough to reset. Turn off notifications, delete apps that waste your energy. Stop checking your phone the moment you wake up. Give your brain a break from constant input. At first you'll feel restless. You'll reach for your phone out of habit. But after a few days, something shifts. You start noticing small things again. The way sunlight hits the floor, the sound of your own breath, the way your thoughts start to flow freely again. You'll realize that peace isn't boring. It's healing. Spend time doing things that don't involve screens. Writing, walking, cooking, meditating, or just sitting quietly with your thoughts. Relearn how to be still. When you reconnect with stillness, your mind starts producing its own excitement again. Ideas return, passion returns, life feels real again. Because here's the truth, overstimulation kills depth, and Sigma females are wired for depth. You're not meant to live in constant noise, you're meant to create meaning from silence. Digital fatigue fades the moment you remember who you are without the world's constant input. If this part's hitting close, take a second. Give this video a like if you've ever blamed yourself for feeling off when it was really your body asking for balance. And if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed. because this channel is all about real talk for women who feel deeply. Okay, now let's talk about another silent killer of excitement. 5. Lack of purpose or direction. This one hits deep because Sigma females aren't built for shallow living. You crave meaning like air. You can't just exist. You need to know why you exist. When your life starts feeling like an endless loop of tasks, responsibilities, and empty conversations, you begin to lose your spark. It's not that you're lazy or ungrateful. You're just not wired to live on autopilot. You've always been the type to look beyond the surface, to search for patterns, truth, and reason. But when nothing feels aligned anymore, when your soul doesn't feel connected to what you're doing, it's like your inner light dims. You wake up, go through your day, check the boxes, but inside, it feels pointless. That's what a lack of purpose does. It quietly drains your excitement for life. You start wondering, what's the point? And that thought, left unchecked, can spiral into emptiness. Sigma females often go through this because you're not built for the traditional path. You don't find joy in conformity, fake smiles, or meaningless goals. You can't pretend to care about things that don't feel authentic. You might even look around and see others content with mediocrity, while you feel restless, unsatisfied, searching for something more. That restlessness isn't a flaw, it's a calling. It's your inner compass trying to guide you toward alignment. But when you ignore it for too long, staying in jobs, relationships, or routines that don't feed your soul, you start to feel numb. You lose energy because your life stops matching your truth. The more you suppress your inner calling, the louder the emptiness becomes. So how do you fix that? You start listening to yourself again, not to the noise, not to what society says success should look like, but to your own intuition. Ask yourself, what feels real to me? What am I drawn to, even when it doesn't make sense? You don't need to have the full map. Just follow the next honest step. Maybe it's writing again. Maybe it's moving to a new city. Maybe it's cutting off what drains you. Purpose doesn't have to be some grand mission or world-changing goal. It can simply be living in alignment with your values, doing what feels meaningful to you, not what looks impressive to others. The moment you start honoring that, the fog lifts. The excitement you thought was gone begins to return. You start waking up with small sparks again. You feel more present, more alive, more grounded. Because Sigma females aren't meant to chase status, they're meant to chase truth. When you live from that place, you stop needing constant excitement. You start feeling quiet fulfillment instead. And that's stronger, that's deeper. So if you feel lost right now, don't panic. You're not broken. You're just being redirected. The emptiness isn't the end. It's the pause before you realign with your real purpose. Listen to it. It's your soul trying to bring you home. 6th, disconnection from self. Somewhere along the way, you stopped hearing your own voice. Not because you wanted to, but because life got loud. Responsibilities piled up, people needed you, and you kept showing up, for everyone except yourself. You became the reliable one, the capable one, the strong one. You wore the role so well that you forgot who you were underneath it. For Sigma females, this disconnection runs deep. You've always been introspective, observant, the one who thinks before speaking. You see through people, through systems, through fake smiles. But that awareness can turn against you when you stop turning it inward. You start analyzing everyone else's life, their emotions, their motives, while quietly ignoring your own. And one day, it hits you. You don't feel like you anymore. You can't remember what makes you happy, what excites you, what inspires you. You've been surviving, adapting, adjusting, but not being. Disconnection from self doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow drift. It starts when you compromise too much, when you say yes to things that don't feel right, when you silence your opinions to keep peace, when you hide your real emotions to appear fine. Piece by piece, you abandon yourself to meet expectations that were never yours to carry. You start building a version of yourself that fits the world better, but feels empty inside. That's why even when everything looks fine from the outside, career, goals, stability, you still feel this quiet ache. It's not depression, it's homesickness for yourself. You miss the version of you that felt alive, creative, and free. But here's the truth. She's not gone. She's just buried under layers of noise and pressure, and you can find her again. But not by pushing harder. You find her by slowing down. You reconnect by getting brutally honest with yourself. Ask, what do I actually want? Not what you should want, not what looks good, not what people expect, but what your gut tells you when everything else is silent. Spend time alone, not scrolling, not working, just being. Sit in quiet spaces. Write your thoughts without editing them. Revisit old passions, even if you feel rusty. Go back to what made you feel like you. For Sigma females, solitude isn't loneliness. It's medicine. It's how you hear your own heartbeat again. Don't be afraid of silence. That's where clarity lives. The more you reconnect with yourself, the more you realize that the emptiness you felt wasn't because life was meaningless. It was because you were disconnected from your own truth. Once you start realigning with that truth, things begin to make sense again. You make decisions that feel lighter. You stop pretending. You start attracting what actually matches your energy. The world starts feeling real again because you feel real again. So, take off the mask. Drop the act. You don't have to be everything for everyone. You just have to come home to yourself. And once you do, that quiet fire inside you will return, steady and strong. Pause for a sec. If this is speaking to your soul, if you've ever felt lost, restless, or tired of pretending things are fine, comment, "I'm finding me again" below. And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one, because what's coming next? 7. Physical health issues. Sometimes the reason nothing feels exciting anymore isn't emotional or spiritual. It's physical. Your body is the foundation for everything you feel, think, and create. And when it's running on empty, your mind follows. Sigma females are notorious for ignoring their physical needs. You're used to being independent, strong, and unstoppable. You push through pain, skip meals, stay up late, drink more coffee than water, and call it discipline. But discipline without balance becomes destruction. You can't think clearly when your body is inflamed, dehydrated, or undernourished. You can't feel joy when your hormones are chaotic, your blood sugars crashing, or your nervous system's in overdrive. It's not weakness, it's biology. Your body isn't your enemy, it's your compass. It keeps whispering what it needs, but you've learned to tune it out because you equate stillness with laziness. You keep grinding even when your energy dips. You think rest is for the weak, but that mindset is exactly what's breaking you down. Over time, exhaustion starts blending with emotional numbness. You lose your spark, your drive, your creativity. You stop feeling excited about anything because your body's just trying to survive. And survival mode can't coexist with inspiration. When your physical health starts to crash, everything else unravels. Low energy leads to procrastination. Procrastination leads to guilt. Guilt leads to self-doubt, and self-doubt eats away at your joy. It's a vicious cycle. But here's the truth. You don't need to overhaul your entire lifestyle overnight. You just need to start paying attention. Listen to what your body's been trying to tell you. Are you constantly tired even after sleeping? Do you get headaches, brain fog, or mood swings? Do you live off caffeine just to feel normal? Those are not random quirks. They're red flags. Your body's screaming, slow down. Start with the basics. Drink actual water. Eat real food. Food that grew somewhere, not food that came from a package. Move your body, not to look better, but to feel stronger. Stretch in the morning. Step outside. Let sunlight hit your skin. Breathe deeply instead of rushing through your day. Sleep like it's sacred, because it is. And if you suspect something deeper, hormonal imbalance, thyroid issues, nutrient deficiencies, don't ignore it. Get checked. There's power in awareness. The more you understand your body, the better you can care for it. Remember, your mind and body aren't separate worlds. They're a team. When one suffers, the other compensates until both collapse. You can't build an extraordinary life in a body that's constantly in pain or fatigue. Taking care of yourself isn't vanity, it's survival. And when you finally start giving your body the rest, nutrition, and care it deserves, everything changes. Your thoughts get sharper, Your emotions feel lighter. Your creativity comes back. You start waking up with real energy instead of caffeine-fueled survival. You start craving life again, because when your body feels alive, your soul finally has the space to feel alive too. 8. Unresolved emotional pain. This is the one thing most Sigma females don't talk about, but it's the one thing quietly running the show. You've been through things that changed you, hurt you, shaped you, maybe even hardened you. But because you're strong, you didn't let it break you. You kept moving. You pushed it down, buried it, told yourself it didn't matter anymore. But here's the truth. It did, and it still does. The pain you suppress doesn't disappear. It waits. It hides in the background, showing up as exhaustion, irritability, numbness, and that strange emptiness you can't explain. You think you're just burnt out, but sometimes it's not burnout. It's unhealed emotion. For Sigma females, this runs even deeper because you process pain in silence. You don't vent to 10 friends or post about it online. You sit with it. You analyze it. You overthink it until it loses shape, but it never really leaves. You become so good at appearing fine that even you start believing your own performance. But deep down, something still aches. Maybe it's the love you gave to the wrong person. Maybe it's the betrayal you never confronted. Maybe it's the years of pretending you didn't need anyone when, honestly, you did. Those moments leave marks, and when you don't give them space to heal, they turn into emotional blocks. You stop trusting people. You stop getting excited. You stop letting yourself hope. It's like your heart's wrapped in invisible armor, safe but numb. You call it strength, but it's just protection. You've built walls so high that not even joy can get through. That's why even good things feel dull. That's why love, success, or achievement don't hit the same. You're living guarded, not open. And healing doesn't happen in that state. So what do? You face it. You stop running from the old pain. You name it, even if your voice shakes. Write it down. Say it out loud. Feel it fully. It's scary, but it's freeing. Pain loses power when you acknowledge it. Cry if you need to. Rage if you have to. Forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. You can't move forward when your heart's still dragging the past behind it. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means making peace with the story. It means saying, yes, that hurt me, but it doesn't define me anymore. For Sigma females, vulnerability feels unnatural, even dangerous. But letting yourself feel isn't weakness, it's courage. It's how you come back to life. When you start releasing the old pain, space opens up inside you. Space for joy, excitement, love, and peace. The same sensitivity that once hurt you becomes your greatest gift. You start feeling again, not the chaos, but the beauty. The heaviness lifts, and in its place comes lightness. You realize you were never cold, just cautious. You were never broken, just protecting what was sacred. Once you finally let that pain go, you make room for your soul to breathe again, and that's when life starts to feel exciting once more. Here's the truth. Nothing feels exciting anymore because you've outgrown the noise. The small talk, the fake smiles, the endless chase for validation. It doesn't do it for you anymore. You've evolved past surface-level living, and your soul is craving something deeper. You don't want more chaos. You want peace. You don't want constant thrill. You want meaning. You don't want to impress anyone. You want authenticity. And that shift can feel lonely at first. It feels like you've lost your spark, but really, you've just stopped feeding on things that don't nourish you anymore. The world will tell you you're burned out, unmotivated, or too serious, but that's not it. You're not empty. You're transforming. You're no longer satisfied with distraction. You're craving truth. You were never numb. You were just done with pretending to care about things that don't align with who you are now. That's not burnout. That's rebirth. It's your soul saying, I'm ready for something real. Every Sigma female eventually reaches this point, the moment when the world's noise stops making sense, the moment when fitting in feels like a lie. That's when the real magic begins. You start creating your own world, one that feels right for you, not one that pleases everyone else. You start building peace instead of chasing excitement. You start choosing solitude over shallow company. You start trading attention for alignment. That's where your true power begins to show. You realize that your lack of excitement isn't a problem to fix. It's a message to listen to. It's your higher self whispering, "We're done playing small." This emptiness isn't the end of your story. It's the space before your next chapter, the quiet before the comeback. Life isn't punishing you, it's preparing you. Every feeling of detachment is a sign that something inside you is ready to shift. Remember those 8 truths: emotional burnout, numbness, imbalance, overstimulation, lost purpose, disconnection, health struggles, and unresolved pain. They're not flaws, they're signals. They're the universe pointing you back home, to yourself. You are not what happened to you. You are who you choose to become now. Sigma females don't chase excitement. They create depth. They outgrow fake energy and replace it with inner strength. Once you reconnect with that part of yourself, the raw, intuitive, fearless version of you, the fire comes back, but it burns different. It's calmer, wiser, more grounded. It's not a flame that seeks attention, it's one that glows quietly in truth. You don't need chaos to feel alive anymore. You just need alignment. And once you find that, life starts feeling rich again. So tell me, which part hit home for you? Drop it in the comments. I want to know what you felt. And if you're ready to go deeper, my next video, How Sigma Females Heal in Silence, will speak straight to your heart. You're not losing your spark. You're just learning to light it differently. And this time, it's going to burn for you.